Hello and welcome back. In today's video we'll be creating this drawing app using HTML, CSS and JAVASCRIPT. We just select any of our colors here and we can draw on the board as so, or you can pick a custom color. You can change the pen size. There's a button to clear, and then we just have a button here that will download your painting when you're done, and it'll save it as an image for you. Okay, so let's get started. Just close down that for the minute. Open our VS Code. So we've just set up a folder so far, an empty folder. We'll go to create an index.html. Index.html. Okay, so I'm going to use Emmet then for get the boilerplate template. So just press Shift and exclamation mark and press the tab button, and we have a template started. So I'm just going to change the title. I'm going to call it Painting App. Okay. So inside our body, just going to have a paragraph. We're just going to have a P tag paragraph. I'm going to have some text in here, just going to say paint by holding down the mouse button and moving it. Okay, and inside this paragraph then we will have a link, so we're going to do an A tag. To leave the href blank for a minute. We'll be using JavaScript to put a link in there in a few minutes. So we're going to set the download attribute equal to my underscore painting.png. And for the text for the link, we're just going to say download my app. Or sorry, download my painting. Okay, then we're going to use an I tag with some font awesome. We have to bring in font awesome as well. We'll do that now next. So use an I tag. And we're going to give it a class. Going to give it a class of FA slash refresh and refresh. Okay, so now, and inside we're going to use a strong tag just to make it stand out a bit better. And we're going to say clear. Okay, so the font awesome tag we're going to use, we'll come up here and we'll just paste that in. You can get the font awesome tag, which I'll just show you. If you go to cdnjs.com, and you look for the font awesome library. And we just select this, the minified one, copy the link tag. We'll go back to our code and just paste it in. Okay, so you can get your font awesome link from cdnjs.com, which is this library here. Very useful. So okay, so next thing inside, we're going to put a div in this paragraph, and I'm going to use Emmet to speed it up a bit. So we're going to give it an ID of drawing color. So we do hash and then drawing colors, and we're going to give it a class of the same drawing colors. And press enter, and Emmet will do the rest. Okay. I forgot to put in one other. We need a div to surround everything. So we're going to have an ID of pen.tools and a class of pen tools again. Okay, so we need to move this inside of the first div. Now, so for our colors, where we select the colors, all of them is going to be a div. And inside this div, this is where we're going to have our colors for picking the colors. So in the first one, then we're going to give it a class equals. We're going to give it a class of color circle. And we're going to give it the first one a class of active also, so it'll stand out a bit. Any active colors will be a little bit bigger, so we'll show that in a minute. And we're going to set a data attribute, so we're going to call it data.color. We're going to set the first one to hot pink. Okay, and on these buttons we're going to have an on-click event. So on-click is going to equal. Now we're going to have a function later in our JavaScript, and the function is going to be select color. I'm going to pass in the this in there. Okay, so when we press on this, I'm going to call the function select color, and it's going to pass all these attributes through to the function. So we need to copy this down a couple of times. So okay, so I'm going to take active off the rest of them because only one will be active at a time. Okay, and we're just going to change the colors then. The second one is going to be orange, red, yellow, black, blue, white. The last one is going to be green. Okay. So then we're going to put in another div, and in here this is going to be for selecting the custom color. So we're going to give this an ID of fav container. And inside here we're going to have a label, and the label is going to be for fav color. And we want to just say select your favorite color. Sorry, we need to close our p tag after our font awesome icon. Okay. Yeah. Just moving in a bit. Okay, we're good now. So to select our custom colors, we're going to HTML has a custom color picker, so it's going to be input color. Type is going to be color, and the name is going to be fav color. We're going to set an ID the same then, color. Now we're going to set a value. Just the initial value is going to be this color here, FF0000, and we're going to set an onChange function on here, onChange, and we're going to call a function inside our JavaScript which we'll set up in a bit. It's going to be fav or and we're going to pass in this as well. Now, okay, so below that then we're going to create the pen, how to select the pen size, the slider to select the pen size. So we're going to have another div, and give this an ID of pen slash size. And we'll give it a class as well. We could give it the same class. Now, we'll create a label for it. The label is going to be for pen slash size. And we're going to put in another font awesome icon, and the icon will be so this time we're going to do FA slash pencil. Okay, and just do pen size as the text. Okay, to create the slider then, there's another input, and it's a range input. So find that here now. Okay, input range, and to I'm going to set the name to pen size as well. Now, I'm going to give it an ID of pen size. Now, we're going to set the initial value to 10. And we're going to increment it in steps of 5. So step equals 5, and the minimum value it can be will be 5. And we'll say a max value of 40. And we'll have a function on this as well. We'll have an onChange function. And in this onChange function is going to call a function called pen size change. And what will pass through to the function is this dot value. Okay, so the next step then, just indent to bring them in a little bit to make sure we're okay. Okay. Okay, we just indent these a little bit. Just made one little mistake here somewhere. Oh, we need to close this div down here at the end. Okay. So we delete that from there. Okay, so we have, that's a good way of just seeing where your divs, if you highlight one, the corresponding closing one should highlight. So we have everything wrapped in that div. And that one is going to there. So just tidy this up a bit now. That's going to there. That's that one. And that's that one. Okay. Now, so the next thing is going to be the drawing board then. So outside that div then, we just put a new div. Okay. Now we'll give this a class of board. Now in here we're going to put in a canvas. And we'll set the width to 800 and the height to 590. Okay. Now, so we'll create a style.css file. And we'll create our JavaScript file, script.js. Okay. So we'll just link our style sheet. Style.css, and just above the body we're going to link our script, our JS file. Okay, save that now. Okay, so we'll open this with Live Server. I'm using the extension Live Server. And just download that, type in Live Server here and install it. Okay, so right click Open with Live Server. Okay, so we have it all here now. We'll do some CSS now and we'll just style it up. And then we'll work on the JavaScript. I like to do my HTML, CSS first and then style it and then work on the JavaScript. Okay, so let's go back to our code, our CSS file. So for our body, going to set a font family. Of Arial, Helvetica sans serif. Canvas. I'll just set a background color. Set the background to white. Going to give it a border of dashed 1 pixel solid. I'm going to give it a margin auto. Okay. Then for the A tag we have in there, I'm going to say display inline block. I'm going to set the background to kind of a blue color. So that's going to be #69C. I'm going to set the font color to white. I'm going to give it a padding of 5 pixels on the top and bottom, with 10 pixels on the left and right. Okay. Then for our pen tools, go to display flex. Just open it up and get a look at it and see how it's coming. Okay. Now we're going to justify the content. We want to justify the content to space around. I'm going to align content, sorry. I'm going to align to center. We're going to give it a width of 60%. I'm going to give it a margin of auto then. Okay, Starting to come together now. Okay. And in our A tag, I've just forgot to give it a border. Border radius of 100 pixels. Okay. Now, our P tag then. So for our P element, we're going to give text align center. Okay. Now, for our button, our refresh button, so we'll target that by .fa/refresh. Now, give that a margin. Margin left 10 pixels to move it over just a slight bit. And we're going to give it a background color of red. Okay. We're going to give it a padding of 5 pixels on the top, or 5 pixels on the top and the bottom, and 10 pixels to the left and the right. I'm going to give it a border radius of 100 pixels. I'm going to set the color to white. And I'm going to put a cursor pointer on it. Okay, so it's coming together now. Now, I'm going to target the pen size component now, and we'll do some styling. Pen slash s. Okay, so we're going to do a display flex for this again. Display flex. Display flex will be your best friend. We want to do a flex direction of column. So you can see that it's after putting the label on top of the slider for us there now. Okay, so we'll do a text align center. We'll give it a font size of 16 pixels. And we'll set a margin on the bottom of 5 pixels. Okay, starting to get there now. And now for the board, we're going to do some style. Now we're going to give that a width of, give that a width of 800 pixels. And we'll give it a margin of auto. Okay, so that's after centering that first. Okay, next step we're going to do the container that holds all the drawn colors. We're just going to, we'll style that now so it's done. So we'll set this to display flex. We'll give it a margin bottom of 10 pixels. Okay. Can't see anything there for the minute because we have to style each of the color selectors. So, okay. Next step then is the color circles. So the color circle, we're going to give it a height of 20 pixels, a width of 20 pixels, and we're going to give it a border radius of 50%. Setting the border radius to 50% will turn it into a circle for us. I'll give it a margin. Give it a margin left to separate them a bit. We'll give it a margin of 5 pixels. We'll give them a border then of 1 pixel solid black just to outline it. Border 1 pixel solid black. Okay. Okay. We'll say a cursor pointer on that as well. Now, save that. Now you see them, they're all in line there. We still have to fix them up so they're better aligned. Okay. And if just to show you what the display flex done, if I comment out the display flex in here, let's save it. See they are going on under each other. And the border radius, if I undo that, you can see they're all squares. So that's a handy tip to get a perfect circle. So I'll undo these comments here now. Okay, we're back to where we started. Okay, now. Okay, so we're going to style all these colors now, all these little circle selectors. Okay. So we're going to say that color circle, and we're going to use a pseudo selector, and we're going to use the int child. So what we're doing here is we're going to select each circle individually. So we're going to set the first one. I'm going to give that a background color. And we're going to set that to hot pink. Now you see the first one is after highlighting. We go back into our HTML. We can see all the children. And so we're selecting the first one and I'm setting that to pink. So I'm just going to copy this now and undo the rest. So we're going to select the second one. I'm going to set that to orange. Just continue on with the rest of these. Select the third child, we'll set that to red. And we'll keep going down. It's the fourth one. Set the fourth one to yellow. We'll set the fifth one to black. We'll set the sixth one. The sixth one is going to be blue. Feel free to use any of your own colours in here, guys. Seventh one will be white. And the eighth one will be green. Now we see here all our colors. And there's just one more, which is CSS now, then we move on to our JavaScript. So for any of the colors that have an active class on them, we're going to just try and make them a small bit bigger. So we're going to say transform, and we're going to scale it to 1.3. So if you keep watching the pink one there, that should get slightly bigger now once I save this file. So we'll know exactly which one is active, which one we have selected. And that's because if we go back into our code here, we have active set on the first one, but we'll be using JavaScript to put the active class on each color as they become active. Okay. So we should be having something that looks like this at the minute. Now we're going to our JavaScript. Okay. Now we're going to set a variable of the color circle. We're going to set that to equals document. And we're going to use the query selector one. And we're going to use query selector all because we want to select all the circles. So that circle. So what we're doing with this line of code is we're selecting all the color circles. So if we go back into our HTML, all these classes here, all these elements have color circle. So we're going to be selecting all of them. Okay, so we'll just set another couple of variables now to get us going. So we'll just say let set a pen size variable, set it to 10 originally. And we need a variable to know whether if we're drawn or if we're not drawn. So a boolean. So we'll just say let is drawing. Okay, and we're just going to set an X and a Y. We'll be using these to know where the mouse is on the canvas. Okay, so we need to initialize the canvas. So we'll just say var canvas equals the query selector. Okay. And then we'll just say C equals canvas.getContext 2D. This is what we use when we're working with our canvas then. Okay. Now we're going to add a few event listeners on the canvas. We're going to have a mouse down and a mouse up. So that's going to listen for an event on the canvas when we have the mouse pressed and when we release the mouse. So we'll just say canvas add event listener. And now the event is going to be a mouse down. Okay, and the mouse down, we want to call a function, and we need the element event. We need an event parameter in there. So on the events, we're just going to have a function. Right, we're going to set the is drawing is going to be equal to true. So we're going to the minute we press the mouse button, we're going to be drawn, and I'm going to set x to equals e dash offset x, and we're going to set y to equals e offset y. Okay, so let's save that. And just to give you a look to see what I'm actually doing here, so we're just going to do a console log x and y. So if we go back to our application, we open the inspector tools, we go to our console.log. If I press anywhere in here, you'll see the x and y coordinates. So up around the corner should be small numbers, 1 and 3. Should be over the very edge, 798 3. So basically what it's doing, wherever you click, is 12 pixels in, 17 pixels down. Okay, so we'll go back to our code. Okay, we'll get rid of that console log. We don't need that now. Okay. We need an event listener then on the mouse up button. So we need to reset everything when we release the mouse. So we'll do a canvas. We add another event listener on the canvas then. But this time it's going to be on the mouse up. So on the mouse up, we're just going to call a function. We won't need the event this time. So on the mouse up, we're going to set is drawing to false. You'll see why we're setting this down 1 second. We're going to set x equals undefined, y equals undefined. Okay. Okay, so the next step then is we're going to set a draw function. So function, and this is going to take 2 parameters. So we're just going to have an x2 parameter in there. We're going to have a y2 parameter in there. And this is where we have the is drawn. So we're going to say if is drawn. So by just saying if is drawn, that's checking is it true. So if we're drawn, we want to start drawing our circle. So to draw on the canvas, to draw a circle, we say C, and C equals the canvas.getContext. So the canvas knows we're just shortening the canvas.getContext 2D to C. So by saying C, we can say that these are all in the documentation for Canvas. So we to draw a circle, we begin the path. See that begin path. And then we need to set the arc for the circle. So the arc is going to be our x2 variable and our y2 variable, and then our is going to be the size of the pen we have selected, and it's going to 0 mat dot pi multiplied by 2. You can get all these values on the website. Just Google Canvas and you'll for drawing a circle and you'll get all these. So then we just need to close the path after that. And then we need to do c.fill to add the color. Now we're going to set the fill color outside it. So we're going to just say C, because we're going to be changing these through it. So we're just going to say c.fill color, or fill style, sorry, fill. I'm going to set it to hot pink originally because that's our first color that's going to be selected when we load the app. Okay. To get all that to work, we have to have a mouse move event. So go up to the rest of our event listeners. We'll say canvas.add event listener again, and this time it's going to be mouse move. And this is going to take an event also. Set an arrow function, and you can call event, you can type in the event or you can just use the E like I done above. It's up to yourself whichever way you prefer to do it. So when we move the mouse, we want to call the function we've just written, the draw function. So we're just going to say draw. And we're going to pass it in where the mouse is again, event.off offset x, and we're going to pass it in event.offset y. Okay, save that for the minute now. Okay, so we'll go back to our code and see what we have. So you see we're getting there, it's drawn lines, but you see if you move fast, all we're getting is a heap of dots. So we need to draw a line at the same time as drawing the circle. Okay, so we'll go back to our code. So inside the draw function here, we're going to, I'll just put a comment. After this, we're going to draw the line. Okay. So I'll just say draw now, and in here we're going to pass it in a few values as well. So we're going to pass in an X value, a Y value, an X2 value, and a Y2 value. Okay, so we're going to create our draw line function here now. So function draw line. Just going to copy these here. paste them in here. We'll be passing in these values. Okay, so in our draw line function, we're going to draw a line is something similar to the draw the circle. So you begin the path. So you say c.begin path. Okay, and now we're going to say c.move to. Now we're going to say x1, y1. Then our next thing is going to be line 2. So we say c dot line 2. And the line 2 is going to be our x2 value followed by our y2 value. So what we're really seeing here is, if we go back in here and just refresh that for the minute, we're going to say move from this point here, our first values, and then our move to values are going to be from this point here, and our line 2 values are going to be from wherever we move the mouse to, so say basically here. So we'll go back and we finish our code in. Now we need to set the stroke style for this to have the color. So we'll say c dot stroke style. We're going to set the c dot stroke style equal to the c dot fill style, because later we'll be setting the fill style in a function. So before I forget, then I'm going to just say that here. Now we need to set the width of the line then, so to do that we do c dot line width. It's going to be equal to the pen size, but the pen size on the line is half the size, so we have to multiply it by 2 to bring it in line with the circle. And then just to finish it off, we do c dot stroke again. Okay. So okay. We need to set this, we're going to change this variable to x1 and y1. So this should be just c dot stroke. Okay, go back and fix this. Okay, so we need to move this inside our if statement, and we have a typo here. This should be style, and this should be just c dot stroke. Oh, I have a capital O there. That should be small o. Okay, let's try this again now. Okay, so we're getting a weird effect, and the reason for this is we have to do one more little setting. So we go back into our code, and after we call the draw function, we need to reset. We need to set x equal to x2, and we need to set y equal to y2, and that should fix that issue. If we go back in again and try, Now we're getting our clear lines, no white spaces in between. Okay, so let's carry on with the next function. So okay, we want to be able to clear the canvas to start again, so that's straightforward enough. So we'll just say document dot query selector, and we call that, what was it, fa/refresh. And we're just going to add an event listener to that, and it's going to be a click event. And we're just going to call a function inside in this. So to clear the canvas, we use some of the clear methods again. So we just say c.clearRec. And we want to clear it from the topmost corner, so 0, 0. So it's going to be x0, y0. And we're going to clear it to the canvas.width. And we're going to clear it for the canvas.height. Okay, so we'll save that. And we'll see how is that working. Okay, so so we have, just put in your parentheses in here. Save that. Now we'll see how that's working. We're drawing our line. Okay, we press the clear button. Good, clear. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is, our next step will be, so we want to be able to select the colors that we had on the top of the screen. So we're going to, this select color we have in our HTML, we're going to create that now. Let's see. Const select element. Okay, so we're saying const select color, and we're passing in the element. And the element is coming in from our select color here function here in our HTML, and we're passing in this. So we're passing in this. So we'll go back and finish this off now. So we just want to set the fill style color. And we're going to set that to the element, and we're going to get the attribute of the element, the data color. Okay, and I'll show you where we have set our data color originally. So in our select color, we're passing through this into our function, and when we pass in this, we'll be able to get access to this data color, and whichever color we select on. Okay, so once we get the color, we want to put a class list of active on that circle. So we'll target that element again, and we'll say class list dot add, and we just add active to it. But in addition to adding the class active, we're going to have to remove the active class from each other class, or there'll be two active classes. So we're just going to, first of all, we're going to remove the active class from each circle. So we'll just put in a function here. I'm going to call it remove active circle color. Okay, and we'll have this function, put this function in under it, so I'll just copy that. We'll use an arrow function again, so const So to remove the colors for the active class from each circle, we're going to use our const circle colors that we've set up in line 1. So put that in here. And for the circle colors, they're all held in an array, then we're just going to say dot for each. For each will take a function, so we're going to say for each circle. We're just going to for each circle we're going to say circle dash class list dot remove. And we're going to say active. Remove the class list of active. Okay, let's save that then. Now, so we'll open this with live server. Okay, so when we click on them now, you can see each color that I select is slightly getting larger, and all the rest go back to their normal size. Okay, so our next function then, we're going to set the pen size. So I'm going to call this pen size change. And we're passing in the pen size from our HTML file. I'll just give you a look at that now. So we have the pen size here on row 29. We're calling the pen size function, and we're calling in this dot value. So whatever the slider is set to is going to pass in the value into the function. So we just say then that the pen size that we have up on line 3, the pen size is going to be equal to the new pen size. Equals now. You can see that the original pen size was a capital S, and the one I passed in is just all small letters, just to show the difference. Okay, so then we want to be able to select a color each time. So fill color. And this is being passed in from our HTML file again. We're passing in the colors. We're calling the function here fave color on the input. This is where we're getting the color from the color picker. Okay, so I want to pass in the element again. And we're going to call the remove colors again because we don't want them to be active. We have a new custom color. I want to say c.fillStyle is equal to the element.value. Okay. And when we set the c style value to the element.value, once we go up to our drawn functions, you can see our C style will be set to the new color, and down in our draw line we have the C stroke style equals the C fill style, so it's getting passed in there. So let's try it out then. Okay, so we have pink. Okay, we have red. Okay, change the color. Okay, we have an error here. Let's go back and see what's wrong. Okay, I have a typo here. There should be str. Save that. Let's try again. Okay, we have pink. Now we have red. Do the pen size. We have bigger pen size. Select custom color. Okay, all is good. Press the clear button. It clears. Okay, just one more function left now, and that's to download it as an image when we're finished our painting. So we go back into our code. This is straightforward enough. So we're just going to select that A tag. It's the only A tag in it, so we can do it like this. Document dot query selector. I'm going to target that A tag. And we're going to add an event listener. The event listener is going to be click. Now, and be an event in this. And we're going to set the event target ref target.href is going to be equal to the canvas. And we'll use that to data URL. When we click on the A tag, the href of that A tag is going to be set to the canvas URL. So if we go into our HTML, and on our A tag it's blank at the minute, and the download is going to be set to mypainting.png, so that's going to be the download name, and we're passing in the canvas URL into this href, so that in turn should download it for us. So we'll just save that now. I have Prettier installed, that's why it's changing on save the format. Okay, so let's go back to our code and see if that's working for us now. Okay, so just draw a line, draw a few simple lines. Okay, now I click to download my painting, and there you see it's after downloading the painting. We'll open that now. And there you see my painting.png saved to our downloads folder. Thanks very much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and hit the like button. If you have any comments or any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Thanks very much, and we'll see you in the next video.